more good news. One of the issues, for those of you who are following the Patriot Act, had to do with something called the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. FISA, which was passed in '78. We all remember the church hearings, for those of us around during Watergate. The idea that, we know that the FBI was spying on Americans. We thought we outlawed the idea of domestic spying. Well, the Bush administration brought it back. The secret court, one of the secret courts is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, which has to do with warrants. Good news there is Congress is actually getting a spine. We have heard that they are going to be subpoenaing documents that have to do with how did this administration essentially decide they were going to do an end run around the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, which is, again, a secret court. There's judges who are selected and secretly appointed and have the ability to have secret clearance. The other secret, of course, would be the combatant status review tribunals, because the proceedings really are not open as they need to be. We have had the opportunity, the ACLU has gone down there as observers, but when you have evidence where you can't bring the person into court, where you can't get the evidence itself, but just a summary, I would say that's not fully open. In terms of the Liberty graduates, I think, we all heard with this issue with Attorney General Gonzalez, for example, Monica Goodling, was essentially a graduate of a conservative university that was really not that well qualified, and that there apparently was an effort by the administration to pack the Justice Department against the law, not based on your competence, not based on your ability to know the law, but based on your political leanings, which is absolutely illegal. We certainly do know that's been going on. And again, Congress appears slowly being to the bottom of that. Before I take the last question, is there anybody else who hasn't asked anything yet that we haven't answered? Let me take the last question then.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment, kind of along the lines I said before, but everything you're saying is great. It's so understandable and so plain. And everything you're mentioning, though, is mostly people that are already tuned into you, like having these little groups all over the country is great. But just a thought, like maybe once a week or once a month in a national newspaper, something like USA Today, say Freedom Update or something, because the message is not getting through to the American people. They're not hearing what you're saying, and they need to hear this.
You raise a good point, and I'll wrap up with a few comments. As of September 10, 2001, the ACLU had approximately just under 300,000 members. I'm pleased to tell you now that we are over 550,000. We have almost doubled. So, and this happened immediately. This was before we wrote any ads, before we did anything. People understood that our civil liberties were at stake. Patriot Act. Bob Barr, the most conservative congressman from Georgia, leading the Clinton impeachment, was with us. David Keene, who is the head of the taxpayers, Taxpayers